GH1 TV, your best experience.
Authority, where we had about close to 16, and of course we did something with the GFA and also got a sizable number. So that's what you look at when you look at Ghana. But apart from Ghana, and number 12 is an African story. That's what it is. We did other countries like Benin, Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, and all those. So that place we got about 30-something referees. So it's better to look at number 12 in that context, that it's not Ghanaian as people want it to look like. But of course we can admit that it's rocked a few nerves in Ghana. Kwesi Nyantakyi is gone as a result of a petition I presented to FIFA. But hey, I have a regret, and I am not a football person. I've never liked football. I have always wondered why somebody will waste his time going to sit at a stadium. So perhaps if there's any regrets I have about number 12, it is the fact that I am not a football enthusiast. And perhaps if I was a football enthusiast, I would have taken the story more serious. Honestly, I was surprised in the morning of putting out the ads on number 12, the response. And like you tune into this station, the sports people are talking about it, everybody is talking, and I said, so is football this important? I had no idea that football can really rock the conscience of this nation like that. But again, it's a learning experience. Maybe if I knew, I would have done some magic within there. Though I think that we have achieved the aim that we are looking for.
Okay, but much as the investigation you did was seeking to unearth rot in football, and as you say, in Africa, what we saw on the 6th of June was the Ghanaian case in point, and Kwesi Nyantakyi being at the very apex of what we had seen in the documentary. Based on what we saw in the documentary, some have raised questions that maybe what you had stumbled on or discovered per his utterances, you could have extended the scope of your investigations. What do you say?
I think it's a fair critique to offer, but practically it was impossible.
Why?
First of all, what was the negotiation that went on that brought the issues in? The man was saying that I need $12 million to take to some very high people in office. I mean, where was I going to get the $12 million to establish that? Secondly, you see, we don't do journalism like that. Every work we do, a lot of proper planning goes into it. We want to understand, we want to establish a prima facie evidence of the crime that is being committed. We want to be sure that whoever we are working on is someone that we know is susceptible to that particular crime. So you couldn't have just gotten up one day and because somebody has mentioned 12 million, you decide that you are chasing. We don't go fishing. Before you decide to chase a president, we know what to do when we are working on a political story, and we know what to do when we are doing a football story. They can never be the same. They are different. So you cannot be a trigger happy journalist because you've stumbled on something. You decide to abandon what you are doing. And note, you can't just switch off a decision like that. It's a teamwork. Okay? So you can't just say, well, because somebody has mentioned the president, let's stop this we are doing and let's follow that. However, those who also have a different opinion that we should have followed is fair critique. I mean, you are entitled to your opinion. But so then again, nothing stops anybody from doing that.
Okay, so if you had the 12 million, you will have gone ahead.
Well, I don't know. Whatever, the key thing is not about the money. It's about the preparation I put in place, and it's about convincing myself that whoever I was going to investigate was susceptible to bribes. I had not established anything on any of the people. So how was I going to? That's why I'm saying that we have different approaches to stories. Before you do a story, you do your background check, you investigate everything, you are sure of it, you go for it. What does it do to the journalist? You don't waste money. It's not a fishing expedition where you just go throwing corn or throwing bread on the water for fishes to come and get. That's not what journalism is about. Undercover journalism would always remain a last resort, and would always and must always be in the public interest. So I couldn't have said that, okay, because I'm carrying 12 million, which is practically impossible, I'm going to investigate the president of Ghana. Why am I investigating? What has the president done to warrant my investigation?
Okay. Now, for the investigation you did for number 12, how much did it cost you to get it done?
I've said it elsewhere. That I don't get it when people try to ask us, how much did it cost? How much does your Super Morning show cost now? Do you know?
Morning Star.
Yes. How much is it? Do you know?
Well, this is an investigation you did.
You are unable to
which
tell
had
me.
a cost element.
Okay, so can you tell me how much the newsroom has spent doing today's news? Can you quantify it? So you see, it's not even about money. It's also about time that we sacrifice. But I don't get it when people ask this question. What do they want to achieve? Is it because it's hitting on some nerves? When did they realize that we don't have a capacity to do stories? When I was doing Eurofood scandal, when I was there in the brothels, when I went to the psychiatric hospital as a patient, why did they not ask me how much it cost? When I went into the prison and suffered there, nobody asked me. When I go and work in Al Jazeera and I come back, nobody is interested in knowing how much I was paid or how much was put into the story. But this one you are. Well, the story is still breaking. We haven't finished. If we finish, we'll know the amount. Even if we knew, we don't share those things. Ask your manager right now to tell you how much they spent today, whether they will tell you. They are company issues. You have a capacity, you do it. You don't have, you stop.
Are you surprised by the kind of reaction you received to number 12? And many of the responses we've had, Kennedy Agyapong being the list that we have heard of. Have you been surprised?
Well, I am not here to mention names because I have gone to court. I think that he who asserts must prove. So I am not surprised also at the reaction. Like I said, if I knew earlier that people loved football and want to talk about it and want to do, or maybe I would have put in another. That's where the regrets are. But I think that we have achieved the purpose for which the story was meant for. Kwesi Nyantakyi is gone, whether he likes it or not. 48 hours after our petition had reached FIFA, he had already been suspended. And that is a big achievement for us. Also, the Ghana Football Association is in shambles. The referees are in trouble. All the doors have been pushed. Don't forget, the World Cup referee from Kenya had to resign because of number 12. So the effect has been tremendous. It's been exciting. And I am, like my journalism is name, shame, and jail. That is very important to me. So I am keeping my focus on ensuring that all the details that people require to ensure that there's proper prosecution of whoever is involved in this is important. And that's why I don't want to lose that focus. You understand? There will be elements of intimidation, threats, and all that. I can tell you, I've never taken a bribe before from anybody. I do my stories with the right convictions. I do it strongly, and I believe in the stories that I do. I'm also those who discuss methodology. It's an open issue. We can all discuss. But that will not warrant anybody to say that a journalist should be killed. That's not who we are as a country. We tolerate each other's view because that's how you build.
Is that how you feel now, that people are suggesting you be killed?
Have you not seen the statement that have come out? CPJ from New York has issued a statement. Ghana Journalists Association has issued a statement. National Media Commission has issued. So, I mean, Reporters Without Borders International have issued a statement. So the threats and intimidations are clear, and the people make it open. Well, we are not moved by those threats. We are focused because the element is simple. Confuse the journalist so that he becomes, well, what should I be doing? Should I be answering? Should I be doing? So that he cannot establish his case. Let me tell you this, and this is for my colleague, young journalist. What is happening now is not new. Tomorrow, they will do it again.
If you could be closer to the microphone so we can hear you.
I'm saying that what is happening now is not new. Tomorrow, it will happen again. Look, I call them hot air blowers, and they are available in many African countries. They talk, no substance. They can't substantiate anything. But this is what they do. The first thing is to take the story, attack the story, so that people won't believe the story. Now, when they go and they realize that, Charlie, the guy has done the story very well, we can't attack it because he has all the evidence, then they leave it. They say, okay, now the second thing is, let me attack that guy's credibility so that people will not believe it. And as they say, they will keep on saying that if you don't, we will do this. If you don't, we will do this. Then, when they attack your credibility and they realize that your credibility stands tall, they will abandon that one. All in a bid to get you not to premiere. Then they will come to attacking the life of the person. So the threats, and of course they will put in a lot of efforts to ensure that they kill you. Now, when you step up your security and they realize that, look, the guy, we can't get him, then they will now call on the general public. Wherever you see them, if these are their pictures, if you see them, kill them, because they don't deserve to be part of us. What are they afraid of?
You've mentioned pictures. The pictures that are circulating, is that really you?
I am saying that pictures of people have been put out there. It is up to whoever put it there to substantiate. But whatever picture you put, you saw people from America reacting that, I've seen my picture and I'm being labeled as an ass. You've seen all that. So it is up to those people. But our country cannot sink this low. We must be people of evidence. Evidence is the name of the game. We don't go shooting our mouths.
Okay, but
when we have no evidence. Let me finish. So for me, as a journalist and a lawyer too, what do? I seek redress in the court of law. That's why I've gone to court, to take on those who think that my journalism is wrong. They're entitled to their opinion. They can express it anyhow. But in the court of law, your anyhow will be backed by substance. You get the point that I'm making? So that's where we are.
Okay. Now, for what you've explained to us and your understanding of how things happen when you come out with stories and the reactions that come about as a result of it, the attacks that have come to your personality are that which some say are valued in two courts, the court of public opinion and the court of law. You've indicated that you're in court in dealing with some of these issues, but let's address some of the things that have come up in the courts of public opinion, shall we? Issues relating to what you do, how you do it, questions of entrapment. How do you respond to that?
First of all, who has been entrapped here? Who is the one complaining of the entrapment? Look, undercover journalism has been done across the world. If it's done on BBC, it's fine. If it's done on CNN, it's fine. Have you also realized that all the people complaining are the people who are affected? What is their problem? If you are not a criminal, no amount of undercover work will get you. If you don't deal in any narcotic drug and anybody brings a narcotic drug to you, what would you do? You will run away from it, report the person to the police. Is that not what people do? Look, nobody can turn you into what you are not. So those who call entrapment, I did a sting operation, which is acceptable in journalism, acceptable in law enforcement. It's not the first time sting operations are used. They are used across the world, everywhere. It will always remain the last resort. And before you do it, you must establish a prima facie case. And then again, whatever it is must be in absolute public interest.
The comments we've heard, and for yesterday when Who Watches the Watchman came out, we saw people who are in government, deputy ministers of state, raise concerns about the work you had done. Do you feel this is a state-sponsored attack on you?
Well, I am unable to say whether anybody has done a state-sponsored attack. I can only say this is normal. Through this, they will get educated and they will know that what I'm doing is not different. I do conventional journalism. And when I feel that I must add undercover, I add undercover. And I'm telling them, all those who claim they have evidence against me, well, stop it. Don't forget, we've come a long way. I've been accused of being an extortionist. I've been accused of receiving $150,000. And those people cannot mention who, that third party, who took the money as we speak.
But was there ever anything like that?
That's absolutely nonsense. It doesn't make sense.
Nobody approached you with $150,000.
Who would approach me? How would you tell me that? A story that I'm not doing alone, a story that BBC is doing a story of. So if you paid me here, how do I stop the BBC? It doesn't make sense. Again, don't forget, I've been accused of murdering JB Dankwa. Murder. Is that how we've sunk so low in this country? Because of a story? The reporter is a murderer? And then I've been accused of even going into the BNI and convincing the BNI to give me the medra and mentioning names to him to come and mention. Where is all this leading us to? All these are thrown out there, no substance to prove it, and law enforcement agencies are sitting. Look, that murder is a high-profile political murder. If anybody worth his salt had evidence, what do? Don't you go to the police and give it to them? I'm even interested in knowing who did the murder. But as we sit here, the current murderer is me. And here am I, walking free. How do we build a nation like this? But you see, all these hot air blowers, they are a matter of time. That's why the law courts are there. That place, you don't talk. Look, perhaps I'm the most cross-examined journalist in this country, apart from after the judges' scandal. I got not less than 66 legal suits. So I have learned the hard way. I've learned to be measured. I've learned when to put out an information and when not to put out an information.
Okay.
He who asserts, at the end of the day, must prove.
Questions have been raised about how you acquire personal properties. Asking as asked. What do you say?
Again, I don't want you to I don't want you to specifically be referring to personalities here.
Okay.
That's not what I'm here to do.
Okay.
You understand? You can ask me a general question that people have asked me, that how do I acquire my property? What's the logic in this? That because I'm a journalist, I'm supposed to be poor and pauper? I'm supposed not to afford for my kids to eat, and so it is wrong for a journalist to own a house? Is that where we've come to as a country? Some people who would say that they haven't been to school, they can acquire anything they want, but we will go to school, learn our journalism, go to the law school, and yet we can't afford anything. We should be paupers because we should be their stooges. When they say A, we should follow, and if we don't follow, it means anything we have is acquired fraudulently. What is this thinking? What is this? Nobody is more Ghanaian than anybody. We are all Ghanaians, and if we want to push the frontiers of our country forward, if we want to ensure that our democracy is solid, we ought to pay heed to the law. We don't just go about blowing hot air. It doesn't add anything to the table. And if I feel offended, I can only go to the court of law to make my points very clear. And that's why I'm measured in my talk, because if I talk too much, I'm being prejudicial when the case has been taken to court.
In your line of work, Anas, have you ever been given money to kill a story that you had been working on?
I have told you, I have never in my life taken a bribe before. Not once. Nowhere. Whoever says he has that proof, let them bring it. You understand? Let them bring it, and all these things will crash down in no second. Because
there are claims.
You can't do that in the court of law.
Because, Anas, there are claims that you did jobs on the NEC but dropped it later.
Yeah, so when they made the claim, what did you ask them? What did you ask them when they made it? Are we just going to be sitting down and telling them to make claims? So I just get up and somebody say, oh, Manasseh has stolen this, and that's it, and I believe it? If they say so, provide the evidence. Go to the police, report. You get the point that I'm making? We cannot encourage this in our journalism because it doesn't help national discourse. We need to build substance as a people. That's how you develop a nation. Don't allow people to sit down, oh, he's done this, he's done that. People are even prescribing stories that they say I have done. How do you build a nation this way?
That's one they say that you've done of Parliament, true?
Again, I ask, when did I say anywhere that I have done a story on Parliament? Tell me, when? Because somebody sits in his house and he pontificates, I think there's trouble in Parliament. Then if there's trouble, I think that Anas, which is a good feeling, to think that you have someone you have hopes in to be able to do that story. But that does not mean that you were going to impose your opinion on my work. It doesn't happen. You understand?
If you're just joining us, it's just some 8 minutes past 10 right here on Morning Star. We're having breakfast with the ace investigative journalist Anas Aremeyaw. Anas, your views and comments are welcome. Your questions are also welcome. The number that you can reach us on is 0268 900 980. Alternatively, you can tweet us at *1035FM. The hashtag is Morning Star. Anas, you were indicating something?
Yeah, well, your next question.
Okay, all right. There's a court paper going around that you influenced the court case after taking monies and sharing with the state prosecutor. Is that true? The judge was Charles Quist.
So you are saying that I influenced Charles Quest?
It's a question. Is that true?
I mean, these people, are they not alive? Today I was expecting that you tell your reporters to go to Charles Quest. Ask him whether he's been influenced. If there's a prosecutor, go to him. Let your reporters ask him. Has he been given any money? I hear a former police officer has also been mentioned.
He's also denying it.
They are not. Yeah, of course. They have all denied. Egbert Febu has been mentioned that they paid money into his accounts. His accounts is alive. They've all denied. How do we want to move this country? Is it just air blowing, hot air blowing? Or we want to work on the basis of substance? Because somebody has put things together, we should be addressing it. That's not how we move a country forward.
Now, who watches the Watchman? Have you seen it yourself, the video?
No, I have not. But
You've
like
not.
I told you,
Yes.
I don't have to. The reason is simple. I know myself. I believe in myself. I know I have never, and put it on record, never taken bribe from anybody. So you can play heaven and earth. I'm very confident in my mind that you are not going to get nowhere. And fortunately, there are people in it. So I didn't have to see anything. I know myself, and I've always said this. If you can premiere 30 times, nothing will come out of it.
Okay, now, in order we have been discussing, do you support the dissolution of the Ghana Football Association?
Well, I find myself in a very awkward position in proffering opinions on how Ghana football should be because of my limited knowledge in football. But I've heard all sides of the argument. I've been trying to learn. People say government is right to have dissolved it. Others also say that, well, we think that football is for football people. Government has no business. I honestly have no opinion. Whatever I am looking for is to ensure that there's good football, that Ghana goes to World Cup again based on merit, so that we can all celebrate. That's all I seek for.
And the reason I asked that question is because the job you did identified key individuals who have been caught on camera for one crime or another. And so the question has been, if you're dissolving such a body, is it about reform or about creating a new body?
I am very handicapped proffering answers because of my limited knowledge in football. I seek to say and to emphasize that all I am looking for is a good football governing body and good players who can play like Nima Park, Mamobi Park. We put all the players together, then Ghana can have a formidable national team, not based on a referee taking money. So the Hassel folk, Kumasi Asante Kotoko, Wa All Stars, there's one Bofwakwa or something. All those teams will play knowing that they are playing a fair game and that nobody is cheating them. That's all I seek for. Nothing more pretentious.
So you did set out to get Nyantechi?
I set out to do a football story. I've told you how elaborate it is. He happens to have worked with FIFA. He happens to have been at CAF. And he happened to be the president of the Ghana Football Association. And Nyantechi is one person. There are 77 other referees. 30-something other referees from the African continent. There are about 16 from the Ghana Sports Authority. And there are other people from the GFA. So it is not a Nyantechi story. I would have titled it Nyantechi if it was. It's a football story. Number 12 because football is a game of 11. And the fourth hand that cheats is 12. That's why I tabled it number 12. I didn't say the story was Nyantechi number 12. No, it's not.
Do you feel safe in this country with all that's happening?
Well, it's difficult to say. It's very difficult to say. But is it new? It's not. Perhaps stakes are higher this time because the right nerves have been touched. But I do best, my very best to stay alive. We are solid. You see, I trained under the formidable and energetic hands of Abdul Malik Kwekuba, and I was purged of fear long ago. You see, security lies in the hands of the ultimate God. But I can tell you, if they think they are tougher and they think they will get us down, no, it's not going to happen. We will stand and defend the truth.
How did you feel when the president ordered the arrest of Mr. Kwesi Nyantechi before the video aired on the 6th of June?
Well, I had mixed feelings. One, the president feels that, look, someone is dragging my name into the mud. Two, I had a story that I was not prepared and ready yet to be told. But I can put myself in those shoes. That what was the shoe that the president was in? It's not a comfortable one when you know somebody has used your name for a reason. And I was also not in a comfortable position when I wasn't ready and my story was being talked about. So it's a mixed feeling. This is not supposed to say I had a problem with the president. He had to defend himself. But of course I had issues with the fact that my dates and timelines were shattered by that particular move.
Okay, now it's also fed into the right of reply based on what you had shown to him, the president. There are questions raised that you could have equally given other persons whose names were mentioned in the video a right of reply by showing them the video. What do you say?
Whose name was mentioned and was not given the right of reply? Who? The vice president was mentioned, he had his rights.
The roads minister?
The ministers had their rights to reply. The referees had their rights to reply. So who else?
Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi?
Kwesi Nyantakyi had a right to reply. He did. So who else? Unless there are other persons that have been created in the story that I don't know.
Okay, now you indicated at the beginning of our conversation that when you set out it was purely about football. But based on the leads that you have seen so far, should we expect another investigation that will go into the other leads that were dropped in this documentary?
I don't know. That's not how we work. Nobody announces his job before he begins. And I tell you, the approaches to work is different. Before you say I'm doing an investigation, there should be basis for it. So I cannot be asked here to comment on a story that I have not started, a story that I don't know whether it is even viable to do. That's not how this work goes. It needs proper research. You understand? And I keep saying, let's not anybody take my work hook, line and sinker. My work ought to be there for critical scrutiny. You know, anybody who feels that he has a problem with methodology, you are entitled. That's why the courts are there. Challenge it. Because in doing this, we built a solid culture of using the law to cure mischiefs in society. If I can challenge people, why can't they challenge me too? They are all welcome. But note, since I started my journalism, I've never lost a case before. Never.
But have the critiques of your methodology led you to amend it somewhat?
Amend what? With a methodology that is used by all the international media network. And I keep saying that. Let's not anybody think that number 12 was only undercover. No. It's conventional journalism. We do conventional. It is only when we think there is the need for some particular element of it to be undercover that we do that. That's what we do. So it's not as if somebody just gets and say, oh, I'm doing undercover on somebody. No. Why didn't they ask me when I did Eurofood that how did I do it? Why didn't they ask me that when I went to the psychiatric hospital, how did I do it? Those questions don't come. When I did the fake doctor story, a Dr. Dra who was sleeping with those girls here and there, why did they not ask me those questions? They are all conventional pieces we do. And we make that determination whether where this story has reached, we should add an undercover to it or not. So it will always be the result. So those who want to create the impression as if all I do in a story is undercover, it's palpably false.
Question, Kwaku did mention that your next assignment is on Galamsey. I'm curious, what's going to be in there?
Again, Kwaku has put out there that I'm likely, or I may be looking, or I am looking into Galamsey. But hey, Kwaku didn't tell anybody that I have finished Galamsey, or he didn't give anybody a deadline of when I'll finish Galamsey. We can only wait. You understand? Look at the attacks that are coming from all sections. So you think that because somebody is sitting there talking Galamsey, we should put it out there. What about if I'm sued? If I'm in the dock, am I there with you? So before we decide to come out, we prepare very well. And when it's ready, you aren't going to tell me when to publish it. You didn't tell me when to publish number 12, did you? You didn't tell me when to publish the judges' scandal. You didn't tell me when to publish Eurofoods. Those are for me to determine. However, if anybody feels uncomfortable about it, you can also do yours and publish. It's better when we have many stories out there. My name is Anas Arimi Anas. You can also do yours. I've done mine.
On the right to reply question that I asked earlier, how come the other responses were not incorporated in the number 12 that you premiered? It's because we saw that of the president and the vice.
They were incorporated. You didn't look well. If you looked, you will see that their positions were clear. They were incorporated. Apart from that, on social media, we had done social media text that captures all their replies. It's not possible that you are going to, some of them were written, of course, because it's not possible that you capture the president talking, then you capture the vice president, you capture all the ministers talking. No, we don't do that, because it takes a lot of time in the documentary. So some you mention, okay, this one, we gave him a right to reply, and this is what he said. You put it there in writing. That's how we do it.
Okay. Now, I've got a lot of questions coming from our listeners, and for those who have been waiting for you this morning and us. One of them is that, how do you feel when people make the claim that you entrap people to enrich yourself?
I have just answered this question in your questions. It is fair comment to say I have entrapped people, but it's their opinion. I think that nobody can manufacture a crime. If you are not something, you cannot be. The journalism I do is accepted worldwide. Maybe it's new to some people. I can only encourage them, let them read, and then they will see that what I'm doing is not different.
Okay.
We're a body of people working.
Is it true that some of your people are leaking information to Ken?
I'm not supposed to know who is leaking and who is not leaking. Let me answer. Again, I have said, I haven't done anything wrong. I am out there. I want people to take a swipe, whichever swipe they want to take, they are welcome. At the end of the day, we will bring them to court to substantiate those evidence.
Okay. And have you sacked some of your people recently?
But you think I should be discussing, and that's the problem we have. We have a story, and because somebody says something, we should change this debate to go to how Anas sacks his people, how Anas works with his people. That's, you see, if we want to, what I would say, national discourse.
Yes.
If we really want to make an impact, we should be able to separate the nonsense from what makes sense. What does it got to do with number 12? What is it? So if assuming I have sacked my person, or I have not, and then what? It means that what? Number 12 is wrong? Or number 12 is what? Thank you very much.
We're live on Star 103.5 FM, also live on GH1 television, on our Go television. Anas, I know this is one of your favorite songs. I want to play it for you and ask just a few more questions of you this morning before
I'm
we
pressed
conclude.
for time to
just for a few minutes, just for 5 more minutes.
You know, I had to keep your time well.
Yes, well, I had to wait for about 45 minutes in waiting for you.
Yes,
so
but I've
if
given you
you
more
could spare
than-
me 5 more minutes, please, just for a few minutes.
We shall be all right. Don't you cry, don't you cry.
Makes you love the song? What's the Tears by Gramps Morgan?
Well, naturally, I'm a reggae person.
Yes.
And I grew up in the barracks.
Okay.
And we are inspired by reggae in times of troubles and hardships. we get to arrogant. Anybody who knows me knows that. In fact, you should add Samini's my own.
Samini my own.
Yes,
What do you love about that one?
It's just, I got to like Samini after his limelight, and this is one of the best songs I think he's made, and it's a great song. It has all the rhythms, it has all the arrangement and all that. Fantastic.
Okay, now for the work of investigative journalists, I've got to ask you, understand, with your many years of experience in this profession, what has been the biggest bane for us as a nation in allowing investigative journalism to help us grow and develop as a country?
Well, I think that we need to encourage much more people to get into investigative journalism. Reasons are that that's the only way we can unearth corruption going on in our society. As for the politicians, they will come and go. We are the fourth estate of the realm, and we have to push the frontiers of our. We are supposed to be the watchdogs in society, and if we allow politicians to muzzle us, that's the end of this country. Also, don't forget, what we are doing is not new. People have died for this country over the years. Tommy Thompsons, all the Kofi Kumsons, Kwesi Pratt, the Abdel Malik Kweku Bakos have all done a yeoman's job and sacrifice. Posterity will not forgive us if we let these people down. It is our turn, it's me and you our turn, to ensure that we are not enveloped one day because a politician wants that to happen. We have to instill a lot of confidence in our people.
Is journalism in Ghana under attack?
What is happening is not an attack on me as a person. It's an attack on journalism. But I think that as it's happened in all parts of the world, our profession will triumph. And it can only triumph based on evidence, hardcore evidence. We should not just be shooting our mouths. When people speak, we should subject them to critical scrutiny. It doesn't matter if they are richer. You see, what we have in journalism is not wealth. What we have is credibility and integrity. What we have is the ability to probe and ask questions. And there are some people who will never be comfortable with us, no matter what we do, because they know one fine morning we'll come knocking at their door.
Okay, and what motivates you to keep you going every day?
I'm motivated by the fact that I can put a smile on the face of that child who has been trafficked. You see, when your story leads to some evidence of people's lives being saved, you are happy, and that can only be the motivation. As for the threat and intimidation and all those on our lives, they are normal. When they happen, we should keep our focus on. They should know that if you kill the Anas sitting in front of you today, there will be another Anas. That's how life is. That's how nature is. So if you thought that you had killed Anas, I can assure you there are 1,000 more Anases coming.
That's your training to come and do a lot more for us as a country.
Sure.
Okay, it's just some 27 minutes past 10 right here on Morning Star. This is an extended version to have this conversation with Anas Aremeyao. Anas, for the things that we've all come to learn, and look, there are many who've come to watch number 12. They've come to see the details therein. The groundswell of support has been for reforms in football. What must citizens do in being a part of this process?
Again, difficult question.
Yeah.
I think that citizens, especially those who understand sports, ought to be involved in the sports discourse. I won't pretend as if I know. If you watched before number 12, I wrote an article and I sought to call on all knowledgeable people, in fact sports journalists who I thought are very good and have done marvelous work over the years, to be part of the process of ensuring that there's proper reform in our football. So I was admitting that I wasn't qualified to be the one to discuss, but I think that all football people should be interested in getting reforms.
And when you say football people, should we leave it purely for government to handle, or everybody should be on board?
I think
the
it should
reform?
be everybody. I'm told that it cannot be government. It must be everybody putting his or her hands on the deck and pushing the process forward. Because I'm told that there's something called Galka, yes, and
Ghana League Clubs Association.
Yes, and those Galka people are private people who have decided to do football. So even if you say government and you form, you must get this Galka people to join them, to join you, because you can form your association, but they also can form theirs. You know, it's all a debate that I learn from every day. The last time news file, I had a few things that I usually now, because I don't like, now I take notes. When I hear anything, I take notes so as to be able to. So my answer may not be that comprehensive, but hey, we are here.
It has been a session for you to learn a bit more about our football and how things work. Okay, on a very light note, in Kumasi, you met this kid who was little Anas. How was the experience for you?
It was great. I felt so fulfilled, and I loved the fact that the people in the school asked me very thorny questions, and it gives you that confidence that you are not alone in the fight, and that there are young ones who think that what we are doing has substance. So I really love that school. It's Lutheran Academy in Kumasi, and I want to say thank you to the teachers. And not just that, many other schools have called me that during their career they had kids dressing as me, and it can only be fulfilling. That's why I keep saying you can kill the Anas sitting in front of you today, but those young ones you cannot kill. And I tell you, there will be better Anases than I am.
Okay, and for this little one that you met in Kumasi, what did you say to her about what she has to do to be like you?
Yeah, I encourage her, sweet little girl. People think he's a boy, but he's not. He's a girl. I encourage her, and she can actually speak. And I also engage in a conversation with the mom, how to bring her up, how to let. And the mom was telling me something. She has some attitudes of even asking questions and all that. So it's not just by coincidence that she chose that. It's the girl's attitude. And I pray to God that she comes up and become a bigger Anas than I am.
Well, the Anas brand only does not stay in investigative journalism. We've seen it also transcend into fashion. Are you thinking of opening a clothing line, perhaps? Maybe with all these things that we're seeing.
I'm very handicapped there. But indeed, I've seen some clothing lines running around, people dressing. That's also beautiful. And all those things encourage us to persevere. I think it's wonderful. I'm looking for the designers. Maybe I should be wearing some of them nowadays. It's quite healthy. But I thank them for that passion, and it's great.
What holds you and your faith in life and what you believe in?
Listen, I think that we have all, God gave us special talents, and everybody has a talent in his or her field. And if God gives you what he wants to give you, you have no right to refuse it. That's where your call is coming from. My call is investigative undercover journalism, and that's what I will do. No matter how many degrees I put on myself, no matter how many law schools I attend, I think that my call is in investigative journalism. My call is to make society a better place. My call is to face risk, even if it means getting to the point of death.
Okay. You don't fear death, I guess.
I was purged of fear long ago.
Even for death?
I'm a Muslim, and I fear no death.
Okay.
Because death is inevitable. It's for all of us. What I fear is time. I'm always in a hurry to do my things and do them well, because time won't be there forever. It's a unique opportunity we have on earth. The earlier we impact on life, the better. Else, then again, if we die without putting those fundamental structures in place, our children will not forgive us. We can only live a polarized and chaotic society if we all don't contribute.
Anas, thank you for coming. I'm grateful for your time and for the pleasure of meeting you today. Thank you. So I'll grant you your wish of the last song you wanted to hear, My Own, and that's how we end today's Morning Star, right here on Star 103.5 FM. You can do the dance for me too if you want.
You make me wanna rearrange the alphabet so I could put you next to letter I. Take my heart, baby, carry go. If you leave me, maybe I will die. Lefuna sunni sisi kete kete. Okambra futi china no ye risi risi. Nisi mujira smile siri siri. Ompeni wasa mini no chili chili. Hey, baby me brownie yeah. Golden tree chocolate yeah. Me chatoli yeah. Each and every day me happy yeah. My own. That time of the chase I'm there no money there. My own. See my heart push it up.
First this Thursday. for?
3.
Oko 3 this morning. 3. Ni o time masene o fade down.
Today is my birthday.
So you took tramadol, 3 tablets of tramadol because today is your birthday. You've taken 4 tablets of tramadol.